Well, that's where the baler's gonna live here, at least for a little while. I want to keep it inside, but man, that thing's tall and it's not gonna fit in the shop, so I might end up putting it in the barn or something. But I need to get it off of the truck because today we are moving cows over to the winter pasture. That's what's going on today on Farmer Tyler Ranch. We're over here at the ranch now, and I'm lucky today because I have some help with this project. So before we get started, we're just gonna walk through the corrals here and lubricate gates, make sure that everything is set. I like to walk through the corrals and just kind of get an idea of what the cattle are gonna see and if there's any changes that we need to make. So once we get everything ready to go here, we can start grabbing some cows. There you go. All right, I think we've got everything ready to go here. So I'm gonna try something a little bit different this year. Normally, I gather the entire herd in this little working corral, and then I will peel off a few at a time, run them through the chute, and then run them into the trailer. But right now, I don't have the portable panels that I need to make that work. So really right here is the problem. Usually we have a panel right here that sort of acts as a gate, and you can swing the end of the panel from this post over to this post depending on where you want the cattle to go. So like if the cattle were going to stay here, we'd swing that panel in there and they could just go right out into the corral. If we wanted to take them over to the winter pasture, we could swing the panel back to this other post, and then that opens up an alleyway through here. This would be open, and then they would go right up into the trailer. But there's a few reasons why we can't do that this year. One being that this panel is so flimsy, I don't like it, and I was worried that if a cow like got her head in between these pipes, she could just lift this up and really risk hurting herself. So I didn't want to do that. And then also, I just ran out of portable panels. I don't have anything to put here. And again, a portable panel is really not ideal for this. This needs to be built properly, like this fence. And that is definitely on the list of things to do. But today it's not gonna help us because we've got what we've got. So we gotta figure out how to make it work. What I'm gonna have to do is just sort of run in like 5 cows out of the big corral into the working corral. And then I can run those 5 through the chute and into the trailer. So I mean, it's kind of the same but different. Everyone's going to end up going through, but instead of just bringing them all in at once, we'll just bring in 5 at a time. Right now, this corral is a little bit muddy, but not terrible. There are some spots that are bad, but it looks like most of the places where I'll be running through are not going to be too bad. I think the best way to do this, because some cows can go over to the winter pasture and some can't. Like these first calf heifers, I want to stay here so that when they're having their calves for the first time, they're here at the home ranch. And if they need assistance, it's a lot easier to help them. So I think what I'll do is just kind of try to get everybody over there in the corner, and then hopefully the right cow will kind of put herself in the right spot and I'll be able to get her off of the main herd. Come on, girls. Let's go. After I pulled enough cows out of the main herd to make a load, I ran them back into the crowd tub. Then up into the chute.
Before we ship the cows off to the winter pasture, there's a few things that we need to do to them. The first thing is I'm cutting out their old ear tags that are getting faded and hard to read and replacing them with new, bright, easy to read ear tags. After they get their new earring, they'll be vaccinated and wormed.
So I always loosen the body squeeze first because she'll probably make a liar out of me, but 9 times out of 10 when you loosen the body squeeze, they want to back up. If you loosen the head squeeze, they try to go forward. So if you undo the head squeeze and the body is still tight on them and they're trying to get out, then sometimes that can not be good. So do this first. See, she kind of stepped back a bit. She's almost too big for that chute, but she just fits. You're a big girl.
Once all the cows in this group make it through the chute, it's time to head back through the corral and make it up into the trailer. The nice thing about loading older cows like this is that they've all been through this before, and they know that on the other side of this trailer ride there is green grass and better times ahead. This is made obvious by the fact that they walk right up into this trailer and I barely have to push them at all.
She's the only one that hadn't been over there yet. The rest of these girls have been there. Let's get moving. I'll settle down once we drive.
Let me see your boots. Load 1.
All right, first load. You girls know where you are? What do you think? All right, let's go get the next load. We've got one load down, but neither one of us are really happy with kind of how that went. So I think rather than trying to pull out 5 out of the big corral, I am going to go ahead and round up everybody in this little corral, and then I will pull out the ones that I need to make a load. Now, because I won't be able to run them directly into the trailer out of the chute, what I'm going to do is run them back out into the big corral, and they can just kind of hang out there. And then when we get enough in the big corral to make a load, I can go around this working corral and put them right into the trailer. So we're going to try that. That might work better. I don't think it'll be worse. So we're just going to give it a try and see what happens.
With the next group of cattle caught and up in the working alley, it's more of the same. Worm, vaccinate, and repeat.
guys are curious about what is in this trailer. Maybe more of your friends.
We continued this process throughout most of the day as we dropped off one load after another. Until we finally made it down to our last load.
Well, I didn't strategize my loads very well. We still have one more load to make, but we only need to put 3 cows on it. So it would have been a lot better if I did 2 loads of 7 and 1 load of 6, but it didn't work out that way. So yeah, let's go back and get 3 more, and then that will be it for out here. All right, last load, and it's a good thing because I'm getting pretty worn out.
Fast forward, it's a week later now, and I am trying a little bit of a different strategy with the cows at the winter pasture this year. In the past, I would always dump them out there and then just sort of let them eat the grass down, and when it got to a point where they kind of started testing the fences and they were really having to search for food, then I would start feeding them hay, you know, to make sure that they were getting everything they needed. This year, I have been feeding hay since day one, and the reason for that is I think that it's going to stretch the grass a little bit further during these months where the grass doesn't really grow that much, but it's also going to keep the cows satisfied and hopefully keep them from testing fence lines and trying to find food elsewhere. So far, it's been working great. No one has broken out yet, knock on wood. So right now we're on our way over to the winter pasture. I'm gonna feed them some hay, drop off some mineral blocks, and just kind of let you guys see how they're doing. Well, as you can see, they are really not swarming this hay like they're starving, and that's actually a really good sign because that tells me that they're getting everything they need to eat and more. So far, doing things this way seems to be working pretty good because I haven't noticed a lot of pressure on the fence lines. And I'm also noticing that under the oak trees where the ground is good and the grass has a tendency to grow better, there is still actually a little bit of a stockpile left there too. So they haven't depleted all their grass resources, and they don't eat all of the hay that they get. Well, they pretty much eat all of it, but I mean, it takes them all day to get it done. So I think this is actually working pretty good, and I'm looking forward to next year trying this with round bales, and then I won't be having to bring hay out here every single day. Now, I promise this channel isn't going to turn into me just trying to hawk and sell everything I can get my hands on. But when a company contacts you and wants to work with you and you've been using their products already for years, it's kind of a match made in heaven. If you're in the market for some new Ariat boots, check out the description below. There will be a link to get you 10% off of your first order, and it's a great way for you to support the channel that doesn't cost you any extra. Thanks for hanging out with me today, guys, and I hope I'll see you again on Farmer Tyler Ranch. Well, out here on the ranch, I only wear Ariat. When it comes to boots, there's only one thing I'll put on my feet, and that's Ariat. What you wear says a lot about who you are, and for me, well, I only wear Ariat. See, that's what a sellout channel would look like.